Isn't it weird that every time Disney releases a great show, they give it little to no marketing? We saw a similar thing happen to Andor, quite frankly the best piece of Star Wars media since Disney bought the rights. And now the same thing is happening to Marvel's latest show. Wonder Man is great, not going to be around the bush about it. It's a unique story within the MCU to explore, and a perspective we've yet to see from this franchise. Simon Williams is a sympathetic and engaging protagonist to follow, and the chemistry between him and Trevor makes the show. Their relationship is truly the heart of this show and what makes it work. And it must be said that a character who everyone hated on when they were first introduced, and was an original character to the movies, ended up having one of the realest character arcs in the entire MCU. A literal nobody turned out to be one of the most engaging and honest characters in this 18-year-old franchise. With all this amazing character work, why would Marvel and Disney be ashamed of this show? At least, it felt that way with very little to no lead up to the release. And instead of doing a weekly release schedule like all their other shows, they dropped the whole thing in one day. It's like they didn't want to run the risk of dragging out a show they're worried that people wouldn't like. But as it turns out, people did like it. People are enjoying the intimacy of it. How the goals of every character is to do with their careers and not the fate of the world. We even get great world building for this side of the MCU, with how superpowered individuals are treated within the arts. If you've seen the show, then you know that the Doorman episode is probably the best. In just 30 minutes, we learn everything that this guy is about. Him as a person, his insecurities, and his tragic stumble into the limelight. It's a very dark glimpse into how superpowered people will be treated in the MCU going forward. Starting with the simple rules and regulations can easily snowball into straight up profiling and bigotry. All of this from Doorman. Doorman! A character who I honestly never thought would ever be used in anything. However, I do wish we got to see more of the actual movie making process. But I understand that's not the focus of the story. We follow Simon and his struggles with himself and the harsh world around him. The episode where he's at his mum's birthday is frighteningly relatable, with how his family views his career path and the awkwardness of trying to explain it to people who aren't really interested in it and thinks it's a waste of time. This shit hurts. And it adds to how we feel for Simon. We want Simon to prove these people wrong. We cheer when he gets his dream role. We worry when a reporter starts looking into his past. And by the end of the series, we truly feel for Simon Williams, not Wonder Man. When Von Kovac gives Simon the role Wonder Man and says he couldn't see anyone else play that role, it's such a real feeling. To hear that level of validation from a person you admire, you would just simply burst into tears. I know I would. It's such a human feeling to be told that you are that guy. No one else could do this better than you. It's a feeling we all crave, and I feel like they nailed that sense of relief and astonishment. Simon is practically in disbelief over the whole thing, because it's too good to be true. That's something I feel like I can safely say is what we all want. This shows that general audiences are ready for a more grounded story. We are no longer yearning for these universe-altering stories that change the MCU as we know it. Is it cool when they do that? Yeah, it is. Loki is a great example of that. But these event series should be far and in between. If every story Marvel puts out threatens the universe, or the world, or whatever, then as an audience we get desensitized. It no longer becomes a big deal because the world has been in peril like 10 times now, and it feels like a lot of the time the characters are like, again? Fine. When every conflict is world ending, then the world becomes less. We become exhausted and lose interest in the story, which is why something like Wonder Man really stands out, because the stakes are the characters, not some external meta threat that's going to blow up the planet because the world has been done wrong. It's about two actors who are trying to make something of themselves despite their pasts. It's sad, it's funny, it's dramatic, it's, above all else, entertaining. And if I were a betting man, I think this is testing the waters on how they might integrate the mutants into the MCU. Because a lot of the themes of the X-Men are throughout this show. Intercounter drama mixed within a fantastical world with superheroes, and the overarching fear of having your powers discovered and ruining your life. I would not be surprised if they started doing shows like this for all the X-Men members, showing them just try to live their normal life and achieve their dreams while hiding their powers. Small scale stuff before throwing them into a big team-up movie. That being said, I honestly can't see Simon fitting into any more epic Marvel stuff. His story feels so personal, and I just don't see him having a place next to the Fantastic Four battling Doctor Doom for the sake of the multiverse. I could maybe see him in a smaller team where the threat is more personal, but for now at least, I don't really feel like we're going to see Wonder Man anytime soon. If we do, it will hopefully be a season 2. But even then, I feel like they don't need another season. Everything seems so wrapped up in a nice, neat little bow. But Ghoulie, I hear you say, they don't explain where Simon got his powers. And what was the weird sludge coming out of the trash can that gave Doorman his? To that I say, I don't know. It's not important. Because the reason for him getting his powers is not what is necessary for this story. In a later date, I'm sure they will go into it. But it doesn't matter. He has superpowers and they're risking his career as an actor. That's all you need. Maybe he's a mutant. Maybe he was bitten by a radioactive wonder bug. Anyone else remember this? No? Yeah, me neither. Point is, if how he got his powers was so important, then the whole plot would have evolved around it. But it's not, so don't worry about it. Ghoulie! Where did Simon take Trevor when he broke him out of jail? I don't know, it's not important to this story. The story is done and I felt like it ended in a very satisfying way, so shut up! On the topic of the ending, I did like how it wasn't just a big CG-filled final fight. Once again, this adds to the more personal story that's being told here. We don't need to see Wonder Man fight an evil version of himself. That's not the point. The fact that he's a superhero isn't even a thing, really. It's very similar to Andor in that sense, that you forget you're watching a show based within a larger franchise. And, like Andor, it's better off for it. I also wonder if Marvel is seeing the positive reaction to Wonder Man and thinking, damn, Doomsday is gonna be the complete opposite of this. I still can't even conceive how Doomsday is gonna go.
It doesn't exist. It's never landed. It is no matter. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not fucking real.
But I'll be there to check it out and see if it lives up to the hype. But in the meantime, I'm glad that we have a show like Wonder Man to help us reconnect with the world and see the side of it that we rarely get to experience. The people. Because what's the point of saving the world if you don't care about the people in it?